Good evening, class of 2016. What an amazing night it is tonight. After graduating from King's, Dr. Slattery went on to earn a Bachelor of Arts from Wheaton College, a Master's of Art in Psychology from Biola University, and then she went on to receive both a master's and a doctorate degree in clinical psychology from Florida Institute of Technology. Her commitment to biblical principles, relatable style, and quick wit have made her a highly sought-after speaker. In addition to hosting a weekly radio program on Moody Radio called Java with Juli, she is an often contributor to Moody's Midday Connection and Primetime America, as well as Focus on the Family's daily broadcast, Weekend Magazine, and Your Family Live webcast. She also regularly contributes to Thriving Family Magazine. After serving with Focus on the Family, writing, teaching, and co-hosting the daily Focus on the Family broadcast from 2008 to 2012, Juli began to sense the Lord calling her to walk away from that position to serve Him in other areas. It was at that time that she co-founded Authentic Intimacy, an international nonprofit women's media ministry focusing on reclaiming God's design for intimacy, where she currently serves as the president. Dr. Slattery is a prolific author with 8 published titles already to her credit. Dr. Slattery also sits on the board of trustees for Moody Bible Institute. Juli and her husband Mike have been married for over 20 years, and they have the great privilege to raise 3 boys in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Tonight I ask you to join with me as we welcome one of our own, Dr. Slattery.
What an honor to be here. Faculty and staff, Mr. Raines, the Board of Trustees, parents, and students, thanks for having me. What a joy to celebrate with you your accomplishments, graduates. You have finally reached the day where it's all about you, at least for about an hour, so enjoy it. Well, about a year ago at this time, I was sitting where your parents are sitting right now. My oldest son, Michael, graduated from high school, and because I was sitting in that seat as a mom, I can tell you what your parents are thinking, at least what the moms are thinking. We've got these pictures in our mind of you as a little toddler getting into trouble and being precocious. And then we have another picture in our mind of your first day of school with that backpack that was bigger than you were, and your fears about going to preschool or kindergarten. And then we also remember the days not that long ago where you were buckling under the pressure and you wondered if you'd graduate, or you wonder if you would suffer a B+ for some of you overachievers. We remember the pressure of you wanting to give up and thinking that you wouldn't make it to this day. And so as your parents see you walk down these aisles and get your diploma, their hearts are filled with thankfulness that you made it. And their hearts are filled with joy and with pride at the young men and women that you've become. And they're celebrating, but I'm also going to tell you that their hearts are filled with some grief and also with some fear. Because we know as parents and as teachers and as grandparents that we're sending you into a broken world. We're sending you into a world that is filled with pain, that is confused, that is going to encourage you to pursue all the wrong things and make a convincing argument of it. And we know that what you have in your degree at King's Academy may not quite be enough to stand against the world. So we feel fearful. And frankly, that is why your parents have sacrificed to send you to the King's Academy, and why your teachers and faculty and staff have sacrificed to serve at the King's Academy, because we realize that putting education in your brain is not enough. That you also need to have a transformed heart, a heart that recognizes that Jesus is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And that you're going to need that in order to not be consumed by this world, but to become world changers and to impact the world for Jesus Christ. Now, I can remember 28 years ago sitting where you are saying, okay, speaker, get with it. Come on, I just want my diploma. I want to get out of here. And having that sense of optimism that we could go out into the world and we could change the world. And so as you heard from my bio, I was one of those overachievers, hard triers, went to school progressively to get all these degrees in psychology in order to go out and change the world. And I quickly discovered that I couldn't change the world. As a matter of fact, with all these degrees in psychology, I figured out that I didn't have the wisdom to raise my own kids. And I didn't have the wisdom to create an intimate marriage in my own home. And I certainly didn't have the wisdom to work with women and men who've been wounded and traumatized and abused and put their lives back together. There's no psychological formula to do that. There's no great wisdom that I have to make two people who are married love each other again. And what I discovered is that while psychology can help, only Jesus Christ can heal. And that's why I'm going to encourage you in a way that probably no other graduation speaker and certainly no other psychologist would. Instead of telling you to believe in yourselves and follow your dreams, I'm going to tell you don't believe in yourselves. You know, I have been overwhelmed this evening by hearing your accomplishments, by hearing the passion of your testimonies, by seeing the great talent that God has given you in arts and music. And I know that this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's just a little bit of what you have to offer. But I'm going to tell you it is not enough. It is not enough to change the world. It is not enough to stand against our enemy, Satan. It is not enough to stand strong. It is not enough to reach out to a hurting world. You don't have the words to convince someone that the God of the universe is real. That's Jesus' work. And so instead of following your dreams, I'm going to encourage you to be a Christ follower. You know, the world does not need more doctors. The world doesn't need more teachers. The world certainly doesn't need more lawyers. The world doesn't need more psychologists. And I'll say the world doesn't even need more pastors and missionaries. The world needs more Christ followers. The world needs the love that only Jesus Christ can give. The world needs the truth that only Jesus Christ offers. The world needs the courage that only Jesus Christ has. The world needs the humility that Jesus Christ lived. The world needs the wisdom that pours through the Holy Spirit. And God has given you the opportunity not just to be talented and intellectual and educated, but He's brought you to the King's Academy and placed you in the family that He has so that you would see the opportunity to be a Christ follower. And here's the thing, guys. There are times in life where God will bless your dreams. You have dreams to get a certain education, to pursue a certain career, to get married, to have kids. And there are times where God's going to bless that dream. But I've also realized that there are times where God is going to ask you to choose Him instead of your dream. And He's done that with me. You know, I went to school, I got all these degrees, got this nice shiny doctorate in psychology, and the same week I had my first son. And during that season of life, God asked me to put aside my education and pretty much be at home raising my kids and supporting my husband. And then there were other times that God asked me to walk away from dreams. Most recently, about 4 or 5 years ago, walk away from the dream of being on a daily broadcast with Focus on the Family and start a ministry that talks about sexuality. I can promise you that this wasn't a plan that me and my high school counselor came up with. I mean, who wants that job? And I can also promise you it's not a job that my 3 teenage sons are happy that their mom has. It's just a little bit awkward. But I will tell you that following a call of God is much more exciting and powerful than following your dream. And that is how you will change the world, by laying down your dream and following the Savior of the world. And the day will come, it won't be long from now, where you're going to have to choose between following your dream and following your heart or following Jesus. The day will come soon where you'll be sitting in a classroom and everyone else will laugh at you if you say that you believe that the Bible is true. Will you follow Jesus? The day will come soon when you'll be with friends that are choosing unwise things to do with their bodies and drinking and choices, and you'll have to decide in that moment, will I follow the world or will I follow Jesus? And the day will come when you may have to choose to follow Jesus and lose the approval of people that you care about or love. Will you follow Jesus? If you want to make an impact in this world, Jesus can use you in amazing and powerful ways. But remember this, the salvation of Christ for your life was a free gift, but being his disciple will cost you. Are you willing to follow Jesus? There was a man that some of you may have known or heard of named D.L. Moody. He was the founder of Moody Bible Institute, and he was a poorly educated shoe salesman who felt God's call in his life. And early one morning, he and some friends were out in a hayfield just praying and seeking the Lord. And his friend, Henry Varley, said, "The world has yet to see what God can do with and for and through and in a man who is fully and wholly consecrated to him." Well, this really moved Moody because he realized that his friend Varley didn't say that this man had to be educated or brilliant or talented. He just said that this person had to be wholly committed. And right there, Moody determined that he wanted to be that kind of man. And he fell at the Lord's feet and he just said, "Send me, use me to change the world." D.L. Moody was an ordinary man who sought to be fully and wholly consecrated to Christ. And God did extraordinary things through this very ordinary man. Our hope and our prayer for the King's Academy class of 2016 is that it would contain many of you who would choose to follow Christ no matter the cost. We need you. We don't need you to be brilliant or educated or achieve things. We need you to be surrendered to the Lord because the world needs his love and his wisdom and his grace and his power. God bless you and congratulations.